Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Mental Mondays. Much appreciated you guys taking a little time out of your day to watch the video. And if you guys have been following Mental Mondays or been on the channel very long, you know what they're about. And if you're new to the channel, you never know what you're going to get on Mental Mondays. We talk a little bit about fishing, talk a little bit about just life stuff in general. And it's sort of a departure from the normal videos that sort of a club. I consider the Mental Mondays, the people that watch them, a club, because we don't get not even half the views on Mental Mondays we do the regular ones. So people that tend to watch it tend to be more like-minded, like myself a little bit. But anyway, today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about internal battles that we all face, that everybody faces out there. And I'm going to sort of give you my opinion on it. I don't claim to be a mental health expert, but I'm pretty I've always been an avid observer of human behavior, and think it's sort of fascinating. So I'm going to share some thoughts that I have on it, and hopefully maybe it'll help you guys out if you're having some problems. But anyway, let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, when you're talking about internal struggles that people have, internal battles, I think it's important to realize that every single person out there has them going on. If you have one, you're not alone, because everybody has them. Now, the extent of that can vary greatly. It can be some little minor problem, or it can be some major, heavy, just almost unbearable situation, and everything in between. So every situation is going to be different. But ultimately, I think there's some things that you can do to help out on some level, alleviate some anxiety or stress or depression that comes with that a little bit. I think it's really important. One of the first things I want to say is that when you run into people, and we all do this, we run into knuckleheads and we run into assholes all the time. I think it's important for everybody to realize that when you run into somebody like that, that's just sort of a jerk, you sort of have to give them the benefit of the doubt that they may have they're fighting some internal battle that we may not know about. And we've all been there. I mean, we've all had situations where we're just having a bad day. Something's not going right. Something went wrong. We're dealing with something. And when you're around somebody or you're in public, you're just in a bad mood. You're just like, it's anybody can get in that. So I think one of the things right off the bat is it's important to realize that when you run into people in everyday life that may that seem like they're just hard to deal with, just sort of give them a break a little bit, because they could be going through something you don't even know or unaware about. That's the first thing. The second thing that I want to talk about, and the advice I want to give everybody here, is when you're dealing with an internal battle or struggling internally, a lot of that has to do with right here what's on this shirt. It's Johnny Schultz's Fish the Moment, but being in the moment. Because, guys, I can tell you right now, so much of the internal battles that people go through is because they are either dwelling on the past or they're focusing on the future. If you dwell on the past, most of the time you're dealing with some type of sadness. If you're dealing with focusing on what's going on, what's next, what's in the future, you're dealing with anxiety and fear. Focusing on the future, focusing on something that's not here and now, will create anxiety. And I think a lot of people that battle with internal struggles like that, they tend to live in one of those two extremes, the future or the past. You have got to bring yourself back to the center all the time and be in the moment, because the only thing that we have that is real is now. The moment, living in the moment, is the only reality that we have. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. The only thing that you have is here and now in the moment. And if you can bring yourself back to that and realize that the decisions you make and the impact that you have on your life you're in complete control of it here and now, that will take a lot of that stress and anxiety off of you right off the bat to do that. Now, it's easier said than done, because I think a lot of people know that, but they slip out of that a lot. And I think that's one of the biggest considerations with that. The couple different things here, what you can do is going to really help you out as far as, if you're dealing with something like that, is there's three things that I want to really talk about. First of all, If you have some type of an internal struggle that you're dealing with, you may or may not want to talk about somebody with. You may or may not want to share it with somebody. Some internal struggles that people go to, they keep them quiet their entire life. They never verbalize it at all. Some of them, people can feel they can share. If you're going through something that you feel like you would benefit by talking to somebody, or even if you don't think you're going to benefit from talking to somebody, being able to share your feelings and what you're going through with somebody that you can trust and somebody that will listen to you is it's a massive thing that will help you get through whatever you're going through. And that's why it's really important to align yourself with people that are friends of yours and they have a genuine concern about your well-being and they know how to listen. Listening is the key. When you're going through something, you need somebody to listen to you, or if somebody else is going through something and they feel like they can talk to you, you need to be a listener. The worst thing that you can do is to try to fix something, to try to tell somebody how it is, or what they should be feeling or what they shouldn't be feeling. Learn to be a good listener and learn to, align yourself with people that can listen, because you don't have to give any advice or, fixes for anything. Most of the time, it's just a matter of listening. And that's one of the problems we have in our society today is most people are not very good listeners. There's a lot more energy drainers than there are listeners. And what I mean by that is, you guys know what I'm talking about. How many times have you been around somebody that it's like they take a deep breath and they just start talking and they won't stop. And the only thing that you have time for is just to nod your head and shake your head like that. And in 20 minutes after that, you're exhausted because there's been no give and take in that conversation. It's just like it's been a one-sided conversation. Somebody's sucking your energy. You don't need to be around that. If you're going through some type of an internal struggle, you got to have somebody that will just listen to you with that. Now, that being said, also, there's certain things you can explain to somebody how you're feeling, or issues that you're going through, may or may not want to. But ultimately, guys, one of the things that you have to do is if you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're anxious and you're frustrated and you're going through some type of a battle, you ultimately just have to kick yourself in the ass and say, stop it. Quit whining about it. Quit complaining about it. Quit curling up in bed feeling sorry for myself. You have got to focus on the issue and fix the problem. So many people out there, they spend all their time and energy focusing and dwelling on the problem. They have a fatalistic viewpoint on life. If something bad is going to happen, the worst thing is going to happen. When you get up in the morning and you sit on the edge of your bed, you have got to ask yourself, am I living the best life that I can? Am I being the best person that I can? And if you're not, then at that point, you have the power and you have the ability to make changes to improve that situation. Nobody else can do it except you. And that's one of the things that you have to do, is you just sort of have to be tough on yourself eventually to some point if you've got issues that you're battling internally. Because if you focus on the problem all the time, you're never going to fix it. What you have to do is you have to identify what that problem is. You got a battle you're going through, you identify what that problem is, and you figure out what it's going to take to fix that. It's like, what is the systematic approach I need to do to fix this problem? One of the big problems people have, why they can't do that, is a lot of people don't have the ability to compartmentalize things in their life. They get overwhelmed that life comes from them for all different directions, and you have got to compartmentalize each problem that you're dealing with one at a time. Let's say, for example, your wife left you and she cheated on you or somebody, and then you're having problem paying your bills, and then you're not getting along with a buddy of yours or something like that. You can't let all that come in onto you at once. You have to address one issue at a time. If you've got those things going on you, if you got 3 or 4 things coming in on you at the same time, let's start with the financial part. Okay, I'm in a financial problem here. This is the situation. This is the reality. let's make a plan. This is what I need to do to fix this. And just focus on that problem here and now. Don't worry about the other stuff. Compartmentalize it, put it in the side, and you'll deal with that later. By learning to compartmentalize, that will allow those battles that you have in life to become a lot less severe. And so much of this, guys, it's just a matter of attitude. It really is. And like I said, I don't claim to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, but like I said, I'm an astute observer of it. And there's different extremities as far as what people are going through. But I'll explain. I'll give you an example of 3 things that happened in my life on different levels of it. When I was in junior high, I had come from like a real, calm, Andy Griffith type innocent upbringing. The town I lived in was real innocent. The school I went to was like as wholesome as could be. And when I got into junior high, I started getting bullied by people because I'd never been around people that were mean. Everybody was always nice, and I got bullied on and picked on a lot. And this went on for about a year and a half, and eventually I got tired of it, and I joined a martial arts program, and I learned how to fight. And once I learned how to fight, that all that inner turmoil that I was going through about being bullied, it went away like that. That's a simple fix. The other 2 is I'll talk about my parents here. My mom, she had a lot of health issues. She had neuropathy, which basically put her in a wheelchair for the last 5 or 10 years of her life. She had lung cancer. She had a wide range of health issues. But she always had a smile on her face, and she was always happy and positive, and said that, I can't wait to get back to my old self. She never one time felt sorry for herself, even though she had been given a list of situations that by any standards was, debilitating mentally to most anybody out there, knowing that they're not going to get any better, that their condition is going to continue to deteriorate and get worse. I mean, that's a tremendous battle that somebody is facing, knowing that their health is deteriorating and it's a matter of time before they die. That she never one time felt sorry for herself. She was always positive and optimistic and happy to see everybody. The same with my dad. My dad passed away last year, last fall, and he had it was a pretty sudden illness. And anyway, the doctor, when he was in the hospital there, he basically came in and said, well, your dad, his heart is just failing. There's nothing we can do about it. He's too old to operate on it. And when they finally told him that, he basically, they told him his death sentence right there, that he wasn't going to be around much longer. And I was in the hospital room talking to him, and he goes, well, Randy, you can't live forever, like that. Just matter-of-factly, no fear, no anxiety, just like, Randy, you can't live forever. And that is just a matter of attitude. As far as somebody could be all feeling sorry for themselves, and they could be scared, and they could be anxious, and they could just be having all these, bad emotions. But he was just like, well, whatever, it's just like time for the next adventure. So I always thought that was extremely admirable. But my point is so much of the battles that we fight within ourselves is how we choose to look at it, is how you choose to give that particular battle energy or take that energy away from that battle. So it's really up to us on a deal like that. So anyway, guys, just wanted to run a few of those thoughts by you guys for that. Thanks for listening. Like I said, I don't claim to be any expert with it, but maybe sharing some of that stuff would help you guys out if you're going through something. So again, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all later.